The British government has officially responded to the UK CANZUK petition, which reached the 10,000 signature threshold required. And again, thank you so much to every single person who signed it and helped make this happen. And I can tell you straight off the bat, this response is pretty much what we expected. It is a very political response, but in this video, I'll be unpacking it and also discussing what the next steps are for CANZUK. And apologies, I'm a couple of days late on this update. The government dropped their response while I was still on holiday on the 6th of August, but as soon as I got back, I got straight on it. So first of all, what did the UK government actually say? And prepare yourself here, it might not be as positive as you expect, but stick with me and I'll explain why I am not dismayed by this response. So the summary version of the statement on the petition website states, quote, "The UK has no plans for a CANZUK union, but values close ties with Canada, Australia and New Zealand, collaborating on trade, security and global issues through existing partnerships." And then in full, the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, continued, quote, "The UK government has no plans to establish a CANZUK union. The UK already collaborates closely with Canada, Australia and New Zealand through groupings such as the Commonwealth, Five Eyes, NATO, the G7 and the G20, as well as bilaterally with each country. We are close partners on the full range of international and foreign policy issues on areas as diverse as national security, economic resilience, trade, health and climate. All three nations are priority trade partners for the UK. The UK's first free trade agreements, FTAs, were signed with Australia and New Zealand. All three are also fellow members of the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership, the CPTPP. We deeply value our close relationship with Canada, Australia and New Zealand, and we will continue our close collaboration with all three partners. Signed off the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office. Okay, so while at first you may think, damn, they've shot down the idea of CANZUK here and it's all political jargon, and yes, this is true. It's kind of what I expected. It reads with the classic, slightly patronising tone common for petition responses by the UK government. They are very good at this patronising tone. It kind of reads like they know better than you and they're kind of talking to you about all of these existing things that we have mentioned previously during this campaign. But again, I have to say I am not surprised here. The wording of the petition itself was perhaps too strong as an initial stage, perhaps starting with something like a free movement system only and putting it in the context of a wider CANZUK agreement in the future, or sorting out the quite annoying actually UK-Canada visa system, something like that rather than the full-blown CANZUK union off the bat. But I do think that the very fact a petition regarding a CANZUK union reached the threshold and forced the government to take notice and respond that this is something that a large proportion of its citizens might well want and support based on existing polling. Obviously, the majority of people haven't heard of CANZUK, so that's a big hurdle, but from existing polling, it's very popular. But the government taking notice is inherently a positive thing. That is the big win with this petition, just getting it over the threshold and forcing the government to take notice. That's the win here. But again, I want to thank everyone who signed it and everyone who put up with me constantly promoting it in every video. But yes, it was a really good thing that we got it over the line and forced a government response. There are a few reasons to be optimistic as well that I will glean from this statement. I'll try to be ever optimistic here. The fact that the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office has so openly stated that Canada, Australia and New Zealand are priority partners for the UK seems to me very significant, because in the past, when referring to deals that can be made post-Brexit, the kind of Global Britain initiative that was pushed by the Johnson government, the UK focused often on two countries, the US and India, very specifically. And this explicit response from the FCDO calling Canada, Australia and New Zealand priority partners seems to me definitely a reason to be optimistic here, and gives me hope that we will see some further integration with perhaps trade deals and freedom of movement. I do think freedom of movement would be the best first step to go down, or the first route to go down. for a CANZUK union. Now, of course, we already know that the Canadian government will be responding to a CANZUK petition as well later this year, sponsored by a Canadian Member of Parliament from Ontario, also the same party as Prime Minister Mark Carney. The Liberal Party is a Liberal Member of Parliament over in Canada, so hopefully we will see a more positive response from the Canadian government. I do think Canada is the country in the best position to initiate CANZUK talks in the future. They are wanting to diversify away from the United States, and in the past, Canada and Canadian MPs and government officials have been the ones to most often mention CANZUK as an actual thing. Rather than just closer relations with Commonwealth partners, they've actually used the word CANZUK the most. So hopefully we will see that, and again, Canada in the best position to initiate that. So that will be definitely interesting to hear back on, and I will of course keep you updated on here when that happens. But for now, let's discuss some more of this statement from the British government here. Again, it's very political jargon heavy. It highlights how the UK already has deep international partnerships with the other CANZUK nations, something that I and many who have discussed CANZUK have also brought up. Existing relationships across all these sectors provides, of course, a perfect baseline to build upon closer relations to establish CANZUK. So obviously, we know about all these agreements that they've listed in that slightly patronising tone, because they are the very thing that we believe can be built upon to establish CANZUK. And the government statement here basically just repeats how great it is that we have such close relations. One thing that is crucial to point out, though, is that while they have no current plans for a CANZUK union, they do not rule out moving forward with such an idea in the future. The statement is essentially, we've got no plans at the moment, but look, we do have some really close ties, and these nations are priority partners with which we will continue to collaborate closely. So it's a very standard statement here. They do recognise the significance of these relationships, deeply valuing them. And one thing the subreddit pointed out, actually, I had a read of all the responses to the petition that have gone up on the subreddit. Make sure to join that. They are doing some great work over there, as well as the Discord server as well. I'll put all the links in the description down below. But one thing that they pointed out, that the response is the current UK government's response. They say that the UK government has no plans, but what they mean is this government has no plans. And it should be stated that a future government could, of course, take an entirely different view and want to fast-track CANZUK if receiving enough pressure, or if indeed they think it is politically valuable to do so. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, as well as the free movement idea, another possible avenue that could be taken to initiate CANZUK is military development, like CANZUK nations joining the UK's 6th generation fighter program, for example, is another tangible way forward. As long as our countries continue to become ever closer in an increasingly dangerous world and increasingly dangerous and volatile geopolitical environment, then I'm quite happy with that, whether it's an official CANZUK arrangement or gradually but steadily increasing bilateral relations with each country. This is only a good thing in my opinion, and CANZUK is that shining light up on the hill that we can try and reach in the future, and I really do hope we do. But I want to know your thoughts on this. Are you unsurprised by this response as well? I don't think many people in the UK would describe the UK government as surprising. It's definitely quite boring. Yes, I was not surprised by this response at all. Are there any other positives that you can pull out from this response that I've missed? And what do you think would be the best first steps to go for next? Freedom of movement, the military aspect? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, of course, try to stay positive for CANZUK. This, of course, does not rule out CANZUK in the future. It's just that standard political jargon statement that some of us did expect. A lot of people were saying, temper your expectations with the response incoming from the government. The Canadian response will be very interesting to read. I'm not too clued in on how the people of Canada view the Canadian government, whether it's as negatively as over here in the UK, but that will be very interesting to see. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts though, and while you're there, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. You can also join the channel as a member or buy me a coffee using links in the description to support me further and to keep me powered with that sweet caffeine. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.